righty. Welcome back. A surprise live experience. Another Kickstarter kickstart. We're kicking out live on Cartoons Kayfabe ringside seats. I'd like to introduce my guest today, Seraji, who is running a Kickstarter right now for his book, Fourth Dimensional. I just read it this morning. It's freaking great. I'm super excited. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm right now in Italy, so it's pretty late here, but had to get on the show here and ready to talk about the book.
Heck yeah, awesome. All right, so yeah, you're running your Kickstarter right now. It's in the process. Let's see, I've got it up here. It's going pretty well, it looks like, dude. How's it been for you so far? This is your first Kickstarter. Tell me about how the road's been.
Well, I sort of went into it, both optimistic. At moments I was optimistic, at moments I was very pessimistic. So I've been definitely been surprised with the reception the book's been getting, especially from people who haven't gotten the single issues before, or people like a lot of people from the States, some people in Europe, whatever. Getting the book into new people's hands has been the big thing I wanted from this campaign. So it's really awesome that that's been happening.
Awesome. Sweet. Yeah, the book is great. As I said, I went through it today. It's like some short stories. Like you say in the back, you had all these ideas running through your head and you're like, okay, just wait a second, chill out, and let's flesh out the world. Let's get this going. So we've got 4 short stories intertwining in the life of these 2 characters, a light creature named Mon, and then Earth Girl named Ava. So tell me about creating these characters. Tell me how you see their intermingling relationship.
For sure. So yeah, you got it around the mark. So Ava is this young Iranian woman. She's trying to figure out her life, right? Just graduated high school. She's at this complete crossroads. I feel like a lot of young people find themselves in, where it's do I just work? Do I go to university? What do I do? And then suddenly all this extra dimensional stuff falls into her life, being led by this guy named Mon. He's this extra dimensional fugitive. He's, you meet him. He's this happy-go-lucky guy. He's seemingly innocent, but he's apparently been in prison for high crimes. But they become friends, and they're just trying to live this simple life, but all the dangers and oddities of his dimension have followed through. And talking about that, I have the first issue here. So this had a collection of short stories, and this was just to get me and readers introduced to the world and the characters, and get a bunch of complete stories done in a row. From there, we got issue 2 and 3, and these condensed all those little stories in the first issue into a larger narrative that wrapped up at the end of issue 3. And this one here, I can show you. I did a wraparound cover for it. Nice. Like that.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then now we have volume 1. So this contains all 3 issues plus brand new stories and material, including a brand new prologue. It's over 100 pages, and yeah, contains all my best work in the best form it's been in.
Nice. So how long did it take to collate all this idea? I feel like I saw in the back of the book that your first drawing of this character was 2019. So yeah. I guess, okay, I answered my own question there a little bit. So you've been working on this character since 2019. What was the genesis from this first drawing, which is fairly realized, to what it has become now, and the whole backstory? Right.
So when I first drew Mon, I was really captured by the drawing. Sometimes you just draw something and it's I didn't know what the character was. I have a name for the character, but I'm I kind of want to know more about him. So the stories rumbled around my head and developed over a period of time, and I started doing a lot of world building and getting a little stuck in that. I eventually decided we're just going to get right into it, hop into the comics. And yeah, that was after I discovered the Cartoons Kayfabe channel. So I think I had a big fear of am I ready to start drawing these comics? And then after finding the channel, I got really into it and was okay, no, let's just start and I'll get better as I go through this. So
Nice.
yeah, that was the start there. And I've been working on it between my classes since I'm still a student right now. I put the first issue came out last July, and I've been working on the second and third ones between classes. So it's like the assignments in the day, comics at night. The third issue was done for I used a mentorship project we had in my last semester to complete it.
Oh,
And
cool.
for that one, each student had to find a mentor themselves. And with that mentor, they would run through a project of their own design. And I messaged Kevin at the Catalan, and he, after I had done Space Nights already, and he's such an amazing dude, and he was like, I'd be honored, this is amazing. And yeah, so we do weekly meetups, and for the third issue here, he helped me with like all this art stuff. You know, I would show him my thumbnails, and he would give me like drawovers and everything. So yeah,
Nice.
he really helped me make sure that the final chapter of the arc was like as best as possible. And yeah, so super awesome. Love
So
Kevin.
that's why the last chapter has horses. Kevin loves drawing horses.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
kidding.
he told me about his horse drawing
Well,
experiences. Yeah.
that's awesome, man. It's so cool to be able to find someone
He's
like
like,
that
before you had to draw horses in space. Yeah.
who's such a great artist, to give you tips and to work with them. Would you tell us a little bit about what your guys' weekly meetings would be like, and maybe if there's any tips and tricks you got from Kev that you use in your own work that maybe you'd want to share with the other creators watching?
Yeah, for sure. So our meetings were pretty casual. I think we got along really well. We like a lot of the same comics and like just really good comics. So we would get up in our meetings, and the meetings were supposed to be, oh, you know, you only take like an hour of your mentor's time. Our meetings would easily go for like several hours, just because we'd
Nice.
be like shooting the shit, talking about comics and like what we love and everything. And then we'd get into the book. I would show him sort of my progress from the week, because we'd meet once a week. I'd show him like whatever uh, steps I make. So I would show him like everything I'd done from his drawovers last week, and I would show him the new thumbnails I've been working on since. He would give me sort of final critiques and everything. This was mainly for the line work, just because I thought that was like the bulk of the work. I scheduled it so like, oh, maybe we'll do a little bit on the coloring at the end, but it was mostly for like the pencil and inking. Um, yeah, I'd say the big tips. He gave me a lot of critiques on creating like motion and creating like big moments of impact, how to like follow up, how to have like a second panel be like a proper bridge from like the first panel to the third. So a lot of stuff like that, really like getting into the nitty gritty of things. But yeah, I think it led to some of my best compositions and piece and like pages that people who see it are like really into it. So yeah, really grateful for his time.
Nice. Yeah, he is truly a master of that motion and guiding the reader's eye around a page. That's so cool. I know Kevin is a teacher, and if there's any other up and coming creators out there that want, you know, a mentor or something, I can't speak for Kev, but his rates are good, and you can hit him up for sure. Anyway, back to Seraji here. So the Kickstarter's going good. Let's you want to take a look at the Kickstarter? Maybe we can show the peeps what they have to look forward to, what's going on. Let's see. I'll
100%.
bring it
Let's
up
do it.
here, and we can talk a little bit about it. Let's see, Google Chrome, sharing it here. All right, so I just took my I just added on to mine a little bit. Okay, so here's the Kickstarter, Fourth Dimensional Volume 1, Summer of Fun. So there we go. Okay, look at that. Just went up a little bit. It's got to be me. All right.
Thank you.
How did you get, and this is a little bit to help people with like their you know, their own Kickstarter events. Like, so how did you come across this number 1,471? Let me know if this is like a little too getting
Oh
deep.
no. So that one's an easy one, is because when I set up my account, I'm from Canada, like I live in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
The prices were set in CAD, so that 1,471 is just $2,000 Canadian.
Oh, in the
I
US.
couldn't find a way to
Okay.
change it, and I'm like, will America? Yeah, will Americans be confused by this, or I don't know. I couldn't figure it out, so I left it like that. It makes it so the numbers are a little ugly for everything, but you know.
It still
But
works
yeah,
though.
so the goal I set, so the goal was set to like basically just for the printing cost of the book and like how much I estimated the shipping for the amount the initial print run would cost. Um,
Oh, perfect.
when I talked to a lot of creators, they said, yeah, you know, this is your first Kickstarter. A lot of Kickstarters, they don't fund because they set their goals really high. They set it for like, you know, considering like, oh, I want to make profit, I want to do this, that. They said, no, just keep your initial goal to like breaking even. So I took that advice. I kept it to a lower amount and I funded in less than 24 hours. And since then, it's been going up. We've hit several of the stretch goals. I think we've hit like 3 of the stretch goals here. So that's really great. And yeah, we can go through this campaign page, I guess.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So let's see. The main thing is showing my selection first. So I went for the 11x17 commish. And I guess I was confused. So we might as well hit this, that this is just for the commission to add. It's basically an add-on here where you add on the commission and then you add the book in. So I just did that. But it all comes around through here too. Like you can get to just digital. I mean, that's what I went through this morning. And even the digital, man, the colors pop, the activity is fun. It's great, even just in PDF format.
Thank you. Yeah, seeing because the digital has been what I've been looking at up until I got the preview copies printed, and it's been super nice getting the physical copies in hand though. Like it made it really click for me. I'm like, it gave me an extra boost of confidence where I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to be getting something really awesome to readers.
Yes, nice. Oh, shout out to Chris Hargett. He said he just backed the book, so that's
Oh,
good.
amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right, so you can get 100 plus pages and of Mon and Ava's adventures, collects the first 3 issues of 4D and some all new material. Tell us about the all new material. What do you got there?
So the main thing is the prologue here. I can show. I don't
Yeah,
know if my camera's shown for the viewers, but this is like just a spread of the prologue here.
Mhm.
So my big thing I took away from creating the first 3 issues was because of the way the first issue was a bunch of short stories. There wasn't like just a strong establishing sort of like just meeting of these characters just to set up the story for the rest of it. So I added like the 6-page prologue gets you into the story, shows you the meeting of Mon and Ava, and then you hop right into issue 1's material. So funnily enough, the prologue right at the start of the book is my newest material for the book. There's also a story that was supposed to be in the first issue and then in the second, but it was cut from both because it was supposed to be a shorter story. And I kept like just adding moments to it. And it's the story where Mon and Ava's little brother are trying to do some cooking here. You can see this is the a big double page spread from the book. You know, a lot of comic artists want to save their big action moments for the double page spreads, and I did a big cooking spread here. So you can check that out.
Nice.
So yeah, there's also a bonus section at the back. The preview copy here just has sort of like this spread of all the main characters from the arc. The final versions from the Kickstarter, though, will have that, plus all my illustrations and sketches that I've done outside of the comic for the series, plus guest artist pinup. So, getting a lot of pieces. I got one by Mark Laszlo already. He was top of my list. Getting one from like Juan Gideon, from Kevin. A lot more coming as well that I'll be announcing.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. It's so much fun, especially on your first book, you know, writing to these people, aiming high, seeing who will do a pinup, and you know, when you get them and you have them in that pinup gallery in the back, man, that's such a great feeling. I love it.
Really is,
so much fun. I wrote to Jim Lawson, my very first comic, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, the guy from Ninja Turtles, and man, he was so cool. He gave me all this info and not only did a pinup for free, basically without me asking, but he like helped me, told me where he was printing at, and did all this stuff when there wasn't a bunch of printers. It was just kablam, I feel like, back then. And so, you know, these guys are, it's amazing to reach out to some of these creators. All right, so we got a local pickup here for any Vancouver supporters. So shout out Canadian peeps if you're in Vancouver. If you're a fellow Vancouverite, you can hit it up right here, and then y'all can meet up and get, I mean, your book signed and personalized, I'm sure. Pretty
Oh
good
yeah.
deal if you ask me, for the people of Vancouver only. Pretty sweet. Do you plan on doing any local like shows or trying to do like a signing or something at your local comic shop or anything? Have you tried to set something up like that?
I've
Or
done
like a
little
meetup?
like for free comic book day, I've done a thing at one of my local comic shops before. So I'm
Sick.
definitely thinking they have like a nice space for it. I'll probably reach out to them, see if uh to reach out to a couple comic shops, see if any would be open to doing a signing. That'd be really cool. I've got other shops where some shops that have ordered more copies, I'll be doing little sketch cards that I'll slot into the books, and they'll get to, like, readers for those stores will get a little
Sick.
bonus. I think it's just nice to show appreciation to the stores which are trusting you and supporting you in that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it feels good, man. Ooh, the retailer tier. I like this here. Worst, excuse me, best tier ever. Pretty sweet.
Amazing.
So yeah, shout out to any retailers out there who are watching this. We've got it here. Hit them up afterwards to make sure you figure out shipping, because that's always the hardest and most confusing part of all these things. And you don't want to lose any money. So if you're a retailer, definitely hit them up there. Ooh, original art interior page. That leads me to another question I've been wondering too. Like, did you do all this digitally? Did you do it pen and ink and then color digitally? I mean, that's the question that's on everyone's minds these days. I feel like when we see a new book. So tell us about the process a bit.
So
I'm gonna unshare.
all my work is inked traditionally. So I usually, like, I switch for my pencils. I switch between traditional pencils and digital pencils that I print out blue line, but I always ink traditionally. So I got all the pages are all like original pieces, and then I scan and color them digitally.
Okay.
I think for me, like, nothing beats sort of like ink on paper.
Oh,
But yeah,
100% agree.
all the pages I've held on to, so I still have every single page from the book, and I'm still like uh I was like really torn on whether or not I want to offer them up. So I just made them like a little pricier, just so in that
Sure.
case, like, in case anyone wanted to get an original piece, that I wouldn't be too choked up about parting ways with it. Just because I feel like cartoonists, like, you hear so many horror stories of like massive cartoonists who gave away important pieces in their career super early on just because they didn't know.
Yeah.
So I think, but also on the other hand, you hear like Walt Simonson say, "Oh, I sold all these covers that I really loved, and years later, I don't have the page, and where did that money go?" So like for me, that's
Yes,
another
sir.
thing, is like, it's just sort of pieces of me,
Totally.
and I think I've had people more and more like ask about originals, and I gotta get comfortable, like, give them out to people who really will appreciate them.
Yeah, it's a lot. I agree, man. I mean, it's really like, this is something I say a lot, but like these original pages to me are worth more than any slabbed book or any first print or whatever. Like, because these are the actual, you know, one-to-one visions that the creator had. And I get it, man. Like, and I think a page is worth $500. Like you said, this is the original, this is the root of the fruit, and so I think that's a good move to put them up like that. You don't want to sell them for too cheap. Like
Yeah.
even like Kevin Anthony Catalan, like at our first show, he was selling these original sketches. I think it was for like $25 or something like that. And we were sitting across from Shelly and Philip Bond, and they came over and they were just like, "No, Kevin, no, look, no, okay, quadruple that, because you're worth it, and you need to know your worth as an artist." And
Yeah.
that's like a hard lesson and a good lesson to learn, easy, quickly, is that your art is worth it, your hard work is worth the time and stuff like that. So it's a good lesson to learn, 100%. And that's the final tier on there, other than an early bird special, which has already been grabbed up, and a sketch card version, which has already been grabbed
Yeah.
up. But that's amazing, man. So we got it. Let's talk a little bit more about the story. I don't want to give away the ending, because the ending was awesome. The like final battle, all this stuff. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about like what like inspired these types of stories, from you where you kind of pulled inspiration, and what artists kind of like, fueled that inspiration for you too?
100%. So I've been reading comics all my life. Started with Calvin and Hobbes and Bone. I think Jeff Smith's work, Bone, is like, it's still like one of my favorite comics, and that was like huge for me and still continues to be huge for me. I really love stories like Bone and other comics like Dragon Ball, where they're very different, but they both start really small scale, almost like a lot of humor and really personal moments with the characters, and as the story continues, it grows and like it expands into like huge events and like wars and battle and everything. And I really love stories like that. It's what I'm going to be doing with Fourth Dimensional. Like the first issue starts with a lot of like this slice of life stuff. By the third issue, it's this big battle here, and then you can just imagine for the next arc how the scale will continue growing there. So yeah, a lot of comics, a lot of manga. I was in that generation where manga was like accessible, so I was reading Dragon Ball just as early as I was reading Batman comics. A lot of that stuff. I really love fun comics, like Madman is a personal favorite. Mike Allred's work is genius, and it's amazing.
That was very much
his stuff is out of this world.
Like I truly felt like, because I was trying, I don't always like to try find these analogs, but like I felt really like Mon was like a madman type of character, in that he was finding out about this life in this world, how like Madman forgot who he was and forgot all this stuff about the world. Mon had all this new like joy for the little things in life, and a curiosity that I was really like, oh, that reminds me of Madman in like such a cool way. That's cool you say that.
Right. So yeah, just a lot of really like creator driven titles as well. So I said Madman. Just stories told by a single creator are the things that I resonate with the most. Most recently, I read obviously Space Knights, Victor Alpe's Fantastic Amazement issue 1. That one was amazing. I have Faceless by Max Wisniewski waiting for me at home, so I'm going to be reading that when I make it back. Just stories told by single creators, I think. Yeah, or if it's a team, I like a nice solid team. Oh, it's a gorgeous book.
Yeah,
but yeah, I love all sorts of comics. A lot of Image stuff right now. I think a lot of the Image artists, there's so many, they're like expanding in all these different directions. What Andrew McLean is doing is completely different than what James Herron is doing. And I really love that, because when you're exploring these different Image titles, you're getting such a wide breadth of comic artists exploring this medium in different ways. So yeah, I think a lot of the Image stuff is resonating with me right now.
Awesome. Yeah, they are seemingly the only one of the big few that are giving independent creators the ability to make the books that they want to make, which is admirable. And would you want to go work at Image? I know like it's like, it kind of seems without saying, but like, is that kind of where you're looking to go? Are you going to try to pitch it around, or what do you think?
I think absolutely. I've thought about where I want to take Fourth Dimensional, because it's a story I want to tell no matter what. I said it in sort of like the back of the book. This is the first volume here. I got like, the story is just going to be getting bigger from here. I'll either, I'll be pitching it to publishers for sure, whether that be like an Image, a Dark Horse, like I'll be, sending it to all sorts of publishers, or I'll keep self-publishing it. We'll see. So I think, depending on how things go, I'm hoping to, like, I haven't done any conventions in the States yet. I think that's where a lot of creators I've been talking to have made connections and everything. So I think definitely going to be doing Heroes Con next year.
Nice.
Definitely, I'm going to try and do Emerald City as well.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
I'll see you at Heroes then, I guess. That'll be sweet. Me and Kev will definitely be back.
Yeah, amazing.
There.
Oh yeah.
But Cosmic Lion Productions is always taking on new books. We'll have to see what happens for issue 2.
I would love that. Yeah. I don't want to
I get you.
Anyone on the spot. Yeah.
We did talk a little before you launched the Kickstarter, but it was crazy. But I'm absolutely down to talk again. Anybody who, comes as highly recommended from
Yeah.
Kevin as you did, I mean, we've got to do something together. So let's do it. All right, man. Tell me what else. What's the next
Amazing.
move? Are you
Sweet,
working
yeah.
on issue 2 already? Do you already have your sights set on that? Or
So I think
issue, I guess, 4?
right, yeah. So right now I've been fully in promotion mode. I think I have a total bad habit when I was working on the single issues, that when I finish one, instead of really heavily giving it the proper promotion needed, I just started working on the next issue and be like, oh, I'll promote it when I have the time. So I've been fully in like promotion mode, because like when you're sort of like an independent creator, you're just hustling it all yourself.
Got to.
But I have been sort of letting the story brew my head. I've written out the full plot, but I've left it in a certain way where I want to, just as I improve as a creator, I want to leave myself the room to update the story to, just my best abilities. So definitely going to be starting the next issue here. I've been giving a lot of thought to how I'm going to be doing that. But yeah, so you can expect that from me.
Sweet. All right, y'all. This has been another Kickstart. Please check out Fourth Dimensional. It is an amazing book. The Kickstarter link is in the description. It's down below. Give Seraji a follow. What is your Instagram? Where can we follow you there? And then I guess where else should we follow you?
For sure. Sure. So I'm on Instagram. Instagram's my biggest following. I'm also on Twitter. It's all at Seraji Art. So SERAJI Art, all one thing. I'm on Facebook here. And yeah, the Kickstarter is running for 9 more days here. Let's try and get to 100 backers.
We can do it. All right, cool.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Real quick, Cosmic Line Productions released an all new book today called Paraphrenic by my dude Gary Kramer, and it's amazing. It's dudes from my hometown in Maryland. Originally, I got this old stapled together book when I was just a kid. And it was the first time I ever saw that a creator could just make something and staple it together and sell it in a store. And 25, 30 years later, I finally reconnected with this creator, and we're putting out his new book, and it's super killer. Check it out on cosmiclionproductions.com. And if you have a Kickstarter and you'd like to do something on a Kickstarter kickstart, hit me up and let's get going. We try to do them every week if we can. So just hit me up online here or wherever. Seraji, thank you so much. Get out there and back Fourth Dimensional, and don't just read more comics, be more comics. All right, y'all. Till next time.